My ex-boyfriend laughed about leaving me pregnant when we were in high school. Now he wants us to be a complete family, but he is 16 years too late. I had a baby boy when I was 16. Yes, I know how that sounds. No, we weren't careful. Judge me all you want, I've dealt with that for years. Mike was my boyfriend then, and when I found out about my pregnancy, he did a disappearing act with help from his family. Something future college star something. My parents were always blunt. What happened next was my choice. After a lot of thinking and deciding termination just wasn't for me, I chose to give up the baby for adoption. My parents knew a super sweet couple that was looking to adopt. We met, and I knew they were the right people. This turned from a teen mistake to an almost surrogacy. I started homeschooling to finish my education and to have a rest. The adoptive parents were with me for everything and even paid for most of the medical costs. The adoptive mother was a teacher, so she helped me with my schoolwork and to prepare for college. They were present for the birth, and I refused to hold the baby. Instead, his actual mother did. And it was just right. I've stayed in the baby's life in a distant position as a special aunt. Well, he's no longer a baby, and he knows who I am, but his mom is the same woman who raised him, and I continue to be his special aunt. The only change is now he knows who to call if he needs a kidney. His sense of humor is like mine, go figure. We talk maybe once in a blue moon, which, in all honesty, is the best. He's happy, and I don't regret giving him up to have a happy life. For my part, I married 6 years ago. My husband, Aaron, was divorced on good terms with Bella. They have 2 children together, a boy who is 16 and a girl who is 19. Aaron made it clear since we began dating that his kids' approval was important and that Bella was part of his life forever, not as a spouse but as a friend and mother to his children. I also told Bella and him about my teen pregnancy. To begin with, my stepdaughter and I get along well with the kids. She's closer to her mother but still occasionally does girls' days with me. It's more like friends, though. My stepson is incredibly close to me. He calls me his other mom and always asks me to be present for important events. We bonded when his childhood dog passed away, as my cat died about the same time. Bella and I? We're best friends. I know people have complicated relationships with their partner's exes, but we always show respect to each other. I never tried to take her place. Aaron and her shared something special long before I was in the picture. That's their history. And I am a stepmom, not a mom. Her place in the kid's life is not up for competition. This background is because the whole mess with Mike started when I took my stepson to a medical appointment. It wasn't serious, though he did have to use anesthesia. Aaron and Bella both couldn't get the day off. They tried, but their jobs were on call, and they could not easily take time off. So I went on my own to be my stepson's support. I didn't recognize Mike as one of the doctors. His real name, both first and last name, is incredibly common, and it has been years. My priority was my stepson's support, and everything else was secondary. After my stepson was done, he was a bit out of it as expected. I was setting him up in the car and ensuring he was comfortable when Mike came over. He told me he had been thinking about me and our son for so long and was glad our boy was okay. It took me a few minutes for my brain to click on what was going on, and he kept on rambling about apologies and how he wasn't ready to be a father. Blah blah blah. Eventually, I just sighed and loudly said, "This is not the baby I was pregnant with. I gave him up for adoption after I gave birth. I am a stepmother." My loopy stepson chimed in with, "Other mom." I had to hold back a smirk, to be honest. Mike was stunned by that, and it gave me time to catch him up on the important details. I gave up the baby, he knows what happened and why I gave him up. I married a man with 2 children, I am happy and don't want him in my life. And no, I won't give him contact information for the adoptive family. He is 16 years too late. That was the end of it, and I got into my car to get my stepson home to rest. Since then, Mike found me on social media and has been painting this sob story about me denying him a chance to be a father. How I was a poor mother who threw away her child to raise someone else's children. I'm the she-devil. Most of our former classmates who saw the post reminded him that he left me. Some of his high school friends even pointed out he laughed about leaving me pregnant. I didn't know that part. A few of his relatives have reached out to bash me about taking Mike's chance to be a father. That made me a poor Christian. I'm not. I'm Jewish, to begin with. Update, I'm going to start with the important matter. A lot of people were worried about my biological kid and what he wished when it came to Mike. Well, I got his permission to post this. He spoke to Mike once a few days after I told him where he could find Mike. I won't share all the details, only the final decision. There won't be any more contact between them. The kid doesn't want a second dad, and Mike isn't willing to be in his life unless he has the position of dad. So he's going no contact with Mike. There was more to it, but it's very personal, and I feel it's not my place to share it. The kid and I will continue to have a relationship as aunt and nephew. And he knows whatever he needs medically, I'll always be first in line to give blood, kidney, etc. I found out a few details via his friends for those wondering why Mike is so big into contact with the kid. Mike can have more kids. He just hasn't had a stable relationship in years, which I can believe since I finally had enough and decided to accept having coffee with him to get some things squared away. My husband came, of course, but he sat at another table to let me deal with it. I asked him to. The conversation was a poop show, to be honest. Mike brought me flowers and chocolate-covered strawberries, my old favorites. He treated it all like some date. I nipped that bud immediately. I introduced my husband and told him we were very much in love and happy, so I don't appreciate any attempts at unwanted romance. Once we sat down, he started by telling me what I knew about him having failed relationships. That he felt no woman could meet his standards for a wife and mother to his children since he already saw me as that. He claims he feels guilty for choosing college over me and our baby. He was well aware of the court dates regarding custody and that I was trying to put the baby up for adoption. When he saw me taking care of my stepson, he thought I had chickened out of giving the baby away. Seeing me be all caring for our baby boy made him think how great it would be if the three of us could be a family and maybe have a bigger family down the road. He had the gall to ask me if I would consider divorcing my husband and try to fight for custody of our son. I have to admit, I laughed in his face. I probably was overly cruel, but I had years of stress, heartache, and judgmental encounters to drop on him. I told him all I saw in him was a coward. A coward who, instead of staying to make adult decisions, decided to run with the help of mommy and daddy. Any love I had for him died the day I had to push out a full human being, and instead of knowing I had support from him, there was a big empty spot where the dad was supposed to be. I almost ruined my life and had to throw away prom, senior pictures, and even graduation because I was far too pregnant to party, appear in the yearbook or walk onto stage to get my diploma. He got to party and enjoy life while I had to fight tooth and nail for an inch of respect, yet we both had unprotected intimacy. The only difference is his PP wasn't big enough to pop a baby out or satisfy a woman to begin with. After I calmed down, I simply told him I had a happy life with a man that loved me. Great stepkids are the greatest gift. A best friend who lets me be a stepmom to her children. A nephew who I adore and who, despite our history as biological mother and child, still loves me as his special aunt rather than hates me. My family is perfect because he's not part of it, and I have no intention of living in his fantasy. And that I can't wait to get pregnant with my husband's child to add to that perfection. I also told him to leave our biological kid alone. He has made his choice, and it is up to him if he ever reaches out to Mike. And also let him know I would be making a formal complaint to his hospital for his harassment. It's a good thing my husband took screenshots because by the time we got home, Mike had deleted all the posts. A lot of his former friends reposted screenshots, making fun of him. The silver lining in all of this is that I have reconnected with my high school classmates, and to be honest, they are great people. It seems Mike is one of a handful who stayed in his school hype mindset. It's been about 3 days, and there have been no signs of Mike. My husband did get the biggest ego boost when he overheard me going off on Mike and has been insufferable, in a good way. So, there's mostly good news. Hopefully, one of these days, we'll get even more good news since we are actually excited about the idea of having a baby together.